Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Cautious Respect 683 and it says, am I the arsehole here for telling my fiance to relay to his family that our wedding is not up for changes or discussion? I, 24 female, am fed up with my fiance's 28 male family's bullshit in terms of the wedding planning process. We are roughly 2 weeks away from the wedding day and everything is already very stressful and is going to be a race against time. But anyways, I've been having issues with his family since the beginning of our engagement. There was a rift between me and his mother over details about picking my wedding dress. Then no one on his side of the family would fill out our address, collector/contact form, so we had to change when we would send our wedding invitations twice. His mum and sister were 4 hours late to my bridal shower. Women from his family have asked about incorporating white into their outfits, and we're still waiting for people to RSVP from his side of things. And on top of all of this last night, people from his family were asking about inviting extended family to the guest list. I just feel like it's bad etiquette to behave this way. I'm stressed out of my mind already with trying to hunt down people we invited back in February. Get everything handled with vendors and just 5 million other things. Maybe they just don't understand how weddings and wedding planning works, but I just want to be left alone to tie up loose ends and be ready for the big day on time. I was frustrated with how things were going in regards to my fiance's family, and just told him essentially to shut down any questions or concerns or inquiries in regards to the wedding. I don't want to be asked about making any decisions or changes or anything this close to the wedding, and he thinks I'm being a bit harsh. So, am I the arsehole here for telling my fiance? But just like future reference, if anyone asks about any changes in regards to the wedding, we don't have to talk about it. Just tell people no further changes are being made this close to the wedding date, and it's not up for discussion. OP clarifies some details on the mother and sister being late to the bridal shower and says, oh, the bridal shower wasn't 4 hours long. They just showed up 4 hours late. The shower started at 1, but we delayed start time due to everyone, including me, getting caught in some traffic, so the shower was from 2 to 5, including a big lunch, and they showed up at 5:30. Someone says to OP, you've allowed this to go on too long, and that's on you, not your fiance. When the time came for people to confirm/send their addresses, you should not have extended the cutoff. Those people should not have gotten an invite. Those who were 4 hours late to the bridal shower should have missed it altogether. Now they want to invite more people because they have shown that they can manipulate you. So, now you're dealing with more BS. You need to shut it down now. Will it piss them off? Yes. If you don't shut it down, they will be late to your baby shower. They will interfere with the way you raise your kids, etc. Your answer to all of this is no. That's it. No explanation, no nada, and lay down the law to your fiance as well. Not the arsehole. To which OP responded to that and said, I only extended the address deadline because if I hadn't, my fiance would have had 10 people on the guest list to my 65. I wanted him to be able to truly gather everyone he needed to. And they did miss the shower. They walked in halfway through gift opening and we were walking out the door 15 to 20 minutes later. They can't manipulate me. Every time they ask me things directly, I shut it down. They are resorting to go through my fiance because they can frame things differently and open him up to feel okay discussing things with me. Someone says, who's paying for the wedding? OP says, I'm paying for the whole wedding. My fiance is paying for everything travel and honeymoon related. Relatives are doing nothing but showing up. And one more commenter who says, either your family agrees to back off and let me enjoy my own wedding, or there will not be a wedding. You need to communicate that to them, and they need to respect my wishes, because I'm telling you, if someone in your family fucks up my wedding day, I will just leave and never look back. This is our day, not theirs. If they are not capable of respecting that, and you're not an adult enough to tell them to back the hell off, then I see no reason to go through with the wedding in the first place. I expect you to lay down the law with your family and to confirm that they will be on their best behavior. You have until the end of the week. Come Monday morning, if I don't have any assurances that they understand that they have overstepped and won't do anything to ruin our day, the wedding is off. This is your issue to fix, so fix it. not the arsehole here. And as you can imagine, a lot of people were just pointing towards the husband and saying, get the husband to deal with his family, etc. Because otherwise, this will be your future. I always side-eye situations like this because I think, are they ever going to change? Are they going to suddenly start respecting boundaries? I can never see that happening. I mean, you said you had a rift with his mother about details of your wedding dress. People in his family asking about incorporating white into their outfits because they know there's an issue with it. But why would you do that in the first place? It's just like, and then trying to shoehorn extended family into the guest list, etc. It just sounds exhausting. I'm really quite sad because whenever I think of a friend or a family member and I get invited to their wedding, and if I'm involved in any way, shape or form or just as some kind of support, I try and make it as easy as possible for them. Not difficult, and it just makes me incredibly sad for OP. But a couple of days after this, OP comes in with the update and says, this update may be earlier than expected, but I also wasn't expecting to get a call from his grandma today either. So 2 days ago, my fiance asked me on behalf of his mother if 2 extended family could be added to the guest list. And as we are 2 weeks away from our wedding, I told him that just can't happen this close to the wedding, and he also didn't even originally invite them. I could also tell he was being pressured to bring it up. But anyways, I told him no and told him to get his family to give me space about the wedding stuff, because we're in the final stretch and changes are no longer negotiable. They never were negotiable, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, I get off work today and only 2 weekends, including this one, stand between me and the wedding, and I just want to settle into the bliss. But then I get a call from an unsaved number, but I thought it was my doctor's office, so I picked it up. To a very disgruntled grandma, mother-in-law's mother, grilling me about the guest list, asking me about what was going on, why some people were invited and not others, and what can I do to change it. And I explained that I took the guest list from my fiance, and anyone who wasn't immediate family I didn't recognize or ask questions because it's my fiance's list of people he wanted to invite. Which she angrily said I should have asked her for who should be invited, not my fiance. To which I then realized I never gave her my number, so how on earth did she get it? Anyways, after I somehow got off the phone with her, I told my fiance everything, and he immediately called her and told her to back off and to spread the word that the wedding is ours and it's in 2 weeks and it's not up for discussion, and if they have issues to call him, not me. Hope he had some dancing emojis after that. His grandma even sent her apologies. However, now I'm a tiny bit worried how the wedding will unfold, but for now maybe I'll have some peace and quiet until the big day. If not, I'll start cussing people out myself. Someone asked OP, did fiance give the number to grandma? OP says it was not him. I suspect it was either his sister or mum. He was at work when all of this happened, so he used one of his breaks to make sure I was okay, after I sent him a million texts. And then he called his grandma. And the commenters on this one says, not the arsehole, it's your wedding. If his family wants input, they can plan their own event. I thought I was going to say their own wedding. Commenter 2 says, there's no doubt you're going to have people not on your list strolling up like it's a public event at this point. Commenter 3 says, hire security. Just in case anyone from his fam decides to wear white or bring an uninvited guest. And some people may get butthurt. Let them. Get your security peeps to deal with them. So many weddings have been ruined by family drama. Don't let this happen on your special day. Trust me, the peace of mind it will give you is priceless. I was kind of shocked at OP's fiance immediately picking up the phone and standing up for her. You don't often see that in these stories. And I know it's because usually we're reading the worst of these situations, right? But hopefully a step in the right direction, just needs to keep up with it now. But I couldn't help feel after that second commenter who says you're going to have people strolling up like it's a public event. It just feels that way, especially the grandma's attitude in this as well. It very much feels like it's not OP's and her fiance's day, it's a family event. So security in this situation might be a wise move, but the thought of that as well, it just blows my mind for some reason. Obviously it's the right thing to do because you don't want them just wandering around willy-nilly, turning up and fucking up your day. The thought of security dragging people out of a wedding is just wow. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Original Culture 701 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and it says, "Am I the arsehole for arguing with my husband about my skincare routine? I, 29 female, have been taking better care of my skin for the last 5 years. I've been using retinol, moisturizer and sunscreen for my face all year around, and I've been cleansing my face when I shower. The only person I've taken seriously online about skincare is a licensed dermatologist based in the US. I've been watching her YouTube content here and there. I visited an actual dermatologist 4 years ago, and she confirmed I should use the exact same routine I'm already using for my age at the time. So this is an extra confirmation the YouTube dermatologist probably knows what she's talking about. These past few months I have been a little worried about aging more than usual, since I'm turning 30 in a few months, so I ended up buying a face roller / massager, and a couple of days ago I also bought a red light device for my face. That and the roller are probably the only things I have not heard that a dermatologist recommends them, but I haven't looked that into it. I just know people that have used it and have seen actual results from it. When I opened the red light device, my husband, 33 male, was near me and asked what it was. So I explained to him. Then he asked me how much it cost and I said $50. He then said, word for word, "Sometimes I feel sorry for you." I got very hurt by that statement, but it was pretty late and he was working remotely and was very overwhelmed with work, so I thought I would bring it up another time. Fast forward to today. We had an argument about it. I basically told him what he said really hurt my feelings, and I thought it was a very mean thing to say to someone. And he apologized but said he was sad for a while after he saw that I bought the red light device. He said he thinks I'm gorgeous and I don't need that stuff, that the marketing of beauty products has worked well on me and he doesn't like to see me be a victim. He also added that he is worried about the fact that if I'm spending that much money on beauty products, now what am I going to do when I'm 40? I replied, when we get there, and even if that ever happens, we can talk about it. He said it's already happening. I was already pretty worked up at that point, even if some of his points were valid. The way he was going at it and the words he was using felt like an attack to me, and like he had zero understanding about it. I was trying to explain to him that yes, it is true, I'm feeling insecure about aging, but I'm working on it already in therapy. There is not more I can say about it right now really, because it genuinely is something that's in progress. Also, I was trying to explain to him that skincare is making me feel good about myself. He said that he does understand, and if he didn't, he would have said something all these years. I said that to me, it sounds like he was just judging me in his head and kept quiet all this time. He stormed out. He also mentioned he thinks I'm obsessed with skincare, which I disagree. So, am I the arsehole? Commenter asks OP for info. They say, are your purchases within a reasonable budget? Just checking this isn't a financial issue. I love skincare, and your routine doesn't sound excessive to me. If you use retinol, hopefully only at night, right? You need to wear sunscreen every day, and moisturizer is pretty normal, as is daily face washing. Is it possible your husband is concerned because maybe he is sensing you're doing this out of fear of aging or looking old, rather than it's a nice self-care routine? Your line, what am I going to do when I'm 40? I replied, when we get there, and even if that ever happens, we can talk about it. Concerns me. Do you fear that aging means your life is nearly over? OP says, oh gosh, no. I mean, if we ever get to the point where I'm spending an excessive amount of money, then we can talk about it. So even if we get to that point at all, I just did a rough estimate and it's about $60 Canadian a month for moisturizer, retinol, and sunscreen. Commenter replies and says, wait, that's it? I'm around your age and that's pretty much what every woman I know does. I do vitamin C instead of retinol. That's a very reasonable and actually minimalistic routine. I was wondering if maybe your husband had a point, but now the whole speech seems a little self-righteous. That being said, as obnoxious of a thing to say as it is, I understand the "I feel sorry for you" comment. I'm often jealous of men. They don't grow up with loved ones constantly commenting on their skin and hair and weight and clothing. They don't freak out as much about aging because older men are not visible the same way older women can be. Women are socialized to care so much about these things in a way men don't, and sometimes it's a burden. But I'm happy to use sunscreen and moisturizer and to have really nice soft skin. Frankly, I think a lot of men like it too when they start. Often when their wives share their products with them. Lol. OP says I 100% see your point. When he said sometimes I feel sorry for you, It felt like a punch in the stomach, but unfortunately, I understood exactly why he said it and what he really meant. Here's the thing though, saying it makes me feel sad that you feel like you might need to do this would have been 1,000 times better, and the idea behind it isn't that different. One is condescending, the other one isn't. And Opie also says, yeah, I was worried I might be the arsehole here because I got defensive. Commenter says, you are worried more about aging, and that is not healthy. I'm telling you that's not healthy. We all age the same. Time passes at the same rate for everyone. You're equating time passing, aging with your skin health, and that's silly. Opie says, yeah, I don't think it's good for me either. I do think it will get better as I continue therapy though. Commenter says, you're the arsehole, but it is sad to be so obsessed with aging in your 20s. You better have lots of cash, because if this is what you're doing in your 20s, I can't imagine what you'll be doing in your 60s. Opie says the whole point of starting this early is so you don't have to do excessive things later. Commenter says, I've had eczema my whole life and finally got it treated well enough to where I can develop a skincare routine. And one thing I'm not seeing anyone in the comments saying is how good it is to have nice, smooth, soft skin. Skincare is a very rewarding pursuit. It is therapeutic, and routines of any kind are important for mental health and well-being. You're not just taking care of your skin, you're practicing self-love. Opie says that is exactly how it feels. Also, after a stressful day, it relaxes me so much to just take care of me in that way. And the top commenter says, I don't know, you seem very, very defensive about your purchases. I can see why he might be sad. You're not even 30. Why are you so concerned with aging already? What exactly are you so afraid of? Maybe it's just my perspective here, but some of the most beautiful women that I look up to are wrinkled and more beautiful for it. Betty White, Meryl Streep, Katharine Hepburn, Dame Maggie Smith, and a couple of others. It's good to take care of your skin. If it makes you feel good in some way, that's not bad, but why are you so concerned about aging at not even 30? The average lifespan of a human woman is 80 years old. That means you aren't even halfway through. If you're already terrified of wrinkling and aging before you're even 30, your husband is right to be concerned of how much more fear you're going to be living with by the time you actually see real wrinkles. There's really not much you can do to avoid the appearance of aging as you age. If you want to see how much you'll really age, look at your mother and your grandmother. If you wear sunscreen more regularly than they do, you'll age more slowly than they have and get less sunspots than your grandmother probably has. Otherwise, they're your future and you can't avoid them. The only thing that you can really do is just try to make it confused with more left lines and scowl lines. Which doesn't mean to avoid sadness, it means to court things that bring you joy and make you feel accomplished. Opie says, and her comment was downvoted, I honestly grew up in a patriarchal country. Even though I'm in Canada now, I did feel like other people, not me, after a certain age believe women expire, and they are generally defined by their looks. I think that is a pretty big reason. I'm worried because as much as I disagree, my reptile brain still thinks I need to forever look young. Edit, please don't come for me. I think people downvote me because they also have those beliefs. Once again, I do not. Opie also says, I do not believe that women rot when they turn 30. I think my main worry is other people might treat me differently because they believe that, which I've overcome to an extent, but still is scary. So, after a couple of days, Opie comes in with an update and says, so I talked to my husband yesterday. The issue got resolved pretty quickly. We both apologized and shared our feelings, and that was it. I admitted the last 2 purchases I did were impulsive, and I definitely don't need them. Not that I need the other creams I use besides SPF, but that's another conversation. And he admitted he could have phrased his concerns in a kinder manner, and he sees how they can come off as condescending, even if it wasn't his intention. I also mentioned that I did a Reddit post about this and were able to laugh about it. Some comments got me thinking though. A few women said I am perpetuating misogynistic beliefs and it can affect negatively other women, and the fact that I'm using creams proves it. I'm still on the fence about this because 4/6 of the things I use dermatologist recommendations for my age group, but I do admit that there is some residual trauma there from growing up in a misogynistic environment, which I'm working hard to get rid of 100%. To those of you who are kind and still expressed your honest opinion, thank you, appreciate your. Off to use my new red light device, /sarcasm. Cheers. Commenter says to OP, I think it's fine to want to look a certain way, as long as it's for you. You don't expect others to do it, and you're nice to yourself as you age and your skin changes. In my 30s, I've developed a manageable skincare routine, but I find it fun to try new products. I have a budget that applies to this spending, and other personal spending, and it makes me happy. I share tips with friends, I follow and watch dermatologists on Instagram. I don't impose this on others or expect myself or people around me to never age or change. Or to say, I think there's a difference between perpetuating misogynistic beliefs and wanting to feel good. OP replied just saying 100% agree, and then OP also says, just to be absolutely clear, I prioritize advice from a dermatologist I met with and got advice from. Dr. Dre's channel is something I look more casually. Another commenter says, if you're worrying about aging at 30, wait until you're almost 50. Honestly, it hit me hard and kind of overnight. Not just from looking at my own aging face. I've always looked younger than my age, but at other women and men in my age range. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking care of your skin, especially with what is on offer now. It's no different to a healthy diet and exercise. Your skin is an organ that needs to be taken care of, so you don't end up in later life with skin like a ball sack. And women need to stop tearing down other women. We have enough shit to deal with without getting it from each other. OP says, there is something really beautiful my therapist told me. There is some grief in aging, and that's okay. People that go through medical procedures to look young forever never get to process that grief. And it was such a light bulb moment. I think I'm in that phase of still processing that grief and doing everything in my power to embrace this new part of my life, even if it's just entering my 30s for now. And I got no issues with skin routines, etc, etc. I have one myself. But in parts of it, it kind of felt like both of them were dancing around what the actual issue is, and it was the anxiety about aging, which she's acknowledged herself and said a couple of times that she's in therapy for it, which, you know, is great. And I think the husband just fucked up by coming out with it in a condescending way. But I did love that they had a talk about it and both acknowledged their part in the miscommunication, and that they both got a laugh at the Reddit post afterwards as well. And ultimately, I think it's great that self-care makes you feel good, but just keeping those, you know, those anxieties in check through your therapy as well. Not making it all about aging, but just taking care of yourself. I think that's a nice way of sort of being, I think. But what do you guys make of this situation? Do you have your own little routines? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.